Hey everyone, I'm Justin and this is Cinephile Studios. So Ryan over on Patreon has me reviewing all the Sony Pictures animation films. We started out with Open Season, a couple of those movies, but we also did Surf's Up, which is a personal favorite of mine. And now we're doing Phil Lord and Chris Miller's directorial debut, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs. You know, it's been since the year it was released, 2009, that I've seen this movie. I saw it at a friend's house. I remember a couple vague details about it. Pretty much, I remember it was funny. And it had been a while since I had seen it. It disappeared off my radar. So thanks Ryan for requesting me to review it, and if you want to be like him, you can go over to my Patreon and you can request your own review of a flick if you'd like. So it's time to pop this in and find out if it's as good as I remember. What I remember about this movie was some of the humor and character animation, and what do you know, that's exactly what I receive again. This is a brisk-paced, solid animated film with tons of great jokes, superb voice acting, and a showcase of what's to come from one of the best directing duos out there. This was of course based on the children's book of the same name. I slightly remember it since it was a staple of the elementary classroom, so when the movie came out, I was interested to see how someone could turn a short picture book into a feature-length film. Adaptations like this had been attempted in the past, most famously by Universal with their live-action Dr. Seuss films, and most of these attempts were slight failures in audiences' eyes. Is it possible to turn a couple of pages into a grand story? Well, thanks to the wonderful talent that helped to create it, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs stands out as one of the better children's book adaptations. The jokes start swinging almost from the beginning, with a solid main character, an excellent premise, and epic music. This is a story you've seen done a million times, but because it's told in a fun and silly way, it makes it stand out.
And on they go.
Whoa.
What?
Nothing.
The main character is portrayed by Bill Hader, an underrated actor to this day. We also have a cast of Mr. T, Anna Faris, and Andy Samberg, all of which put out some of the best voice acting work they've done, which is improved by the character's animation. The studio has come a long way since Open Season, because now the characters all have well-defined and unique looks, with facial expressions and movements that take notes from the likes of Looney Tunes and Tex Avery. It just goes to show that this team really put their time into making great animation. But beyond that, the colors are well put together, the scope and the size of the sets feel ginormous. There's so many incredible jokes that it's impossible to point out each one. There's physical comedy, quick dialogue, unexpected scenarios, and they take many chances to simply make fun of the conventions of typical films.
This tastes significantly better than sardines!
Some of the jokes go by so quickly that I wonder how many of them I missed. It's definitely not on the same level as the director's later work, but it comes close.
Everything's made of Jell-O! This piano, those sconces, that ghetto blaster, that Jell-O.
There is one thing I don't really feel works with this movie, and that's the relationship between the father and son. I guess it's supposed to be the way it is, since the father just can't accept his son for who he is, or at least doesn't believe his career choice will lead anywhere. It's a common problem in the real world, and has been done many times before, but my only problem here is, while they start building on some kind of conclusion for their predicament, the origins of the problem don't really add up. His father doesn't have a deep connection with his son, and maybe feels awkward as a father in general, especially after the mother dies. That's all fine. What I don't understand though is when the son becomes successful, there's no gradual change occurring. He explains that he's worried the experiment might be going too far, but what evidence does he have to suggest this? The film builds towards the idea that he was right, but it wasn't based on anything. They both shut each other out without a deeper meaning to it all, and by the end they start working together to save the day, but there's never a hint of changing ideals. Maybe I'm reading into it way too much, but overall, the relationship just didn't work for me.
Yikes! What is that, a scrunchie? I haven't seen one of those since 1995.
But that doesn't distract from a stellar, well put together animated comedy that, after 9 years, has aged like fine wine served with a side of spaghetti. You know, it's weird that this movie never once thought about the implications of helping the homeless or starving nations. I guess that would have been too political, but maybe they'll touch on it in the sequel. Yeah, this movie actually had a sequel that was in theaters, unlike Open Season 2. And, oh dear, if we're going in order of release date, that means next month is gonna be Open Season 3.
Just want to tell you good luck. We're all counting on you.
Thank you for watching the video. A special thanks to Chris, Lucas, and Ryan for supporting me on Patreon. If you'd like to be like them and get exclusive access to content and blogs, and even request reviews monthly, please click on the Patreon link, and thanks for your support.